Hey, I'm Srini, host and founder of the Unmistakable Creative Podcast, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to import perfectly formatted podcast transcripts into Mem. Before we get started, make sure you check out our free course on how to take better book notes that will help you build a library of wisdom and knowledge that's always at your fingertips, easy to retrieve, and helps you to remember what you learn. Now let's get started.
There are a bunch of different tools that you can use to do this. My preferred tool is Descript for a couple of different reasons. First, it's super fast. They have this really cool option to remove filler words automatically because every podcast just has ums and ahs in it because that's just how people talk. And so this automatically, with the push of a button, will remove all of that. And it gives you multiple export options, which is going to be critical for when you set up the automation. So for example, you're going to come here and you want to make sure that you export this as a markdown file. So that way it actually comes into Mem perfectly formatted. So the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you save this to a particular folder inside of your Dropbox or Google Drive, because that's where the automation is going to pull that file into Mem from. So let's go over to Zapier and I will show you exactly how to do this.
So what you're going to do to set this up is you're going to log into Zapier, and what you'll want to do is make sure that you go to create a Zap right here. And then what you need to do is to select a trigger event, which is a new file inside of a Dropbox folder where you're going to just choose this. And then what you'll do here is specify whichever folder that Dropbox file that you want to import into Mem is in. And then you'll go ahead and fill in whatever the necessary parameters are. And then you'll go here, which is where your action is going to be, and you're going to create a new Mem.
What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and test the trigger. And you can see here that there's a couple of different triggers already there. So it found a file. That's what you need to make sure. You need to make sure that the text actually displays here. Otherwise, it won't come into Mem properly. So now what we're going to do is we've tested the trigger. We know there's a file there. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a Mem. And if you continue and you connect it to your account, which you can do from inside of Mem, you'll see here that it gives you the option to decide what content goes inside of Mem. You can use the H1, H2, or H3 markdown tags. I usually use the H1 tag. And then I also use the tag transcript, so that way I know exactly what it is when it ends up in my inbox inside of Mem. For some reason, it didn't seem like you could actually use tags that were more than one word during this import process, but that's fine because you can always just add those tags later on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and test the action. You can see that I actually was just testing this before. So we're going to go ahead and retest the action. And what you'll see inside of the inbox inside of Mem, you'll see here that it gives you a perfectly formatted podcast transcript with the speaker labels. And you can add whatever other tags you want to this, but now you have it all separated. It's clean. It's much cleaner than just cutting and pasting. And this is super useful if, for example, you want to remember things from the podcast you've listened to, or if you're somebody like me who likes to use quotes from the podcasts you've recorded in your articles or anything else that you're creating. And that's really all there is to it. It only takes about 5 minutes to set up. It's super simple. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.